I'm going to keep this straightforward because when you're looking at a major kitchen appliance, it's easy to get lost in glossy photos and vague marketing speak. The goal here is to help you decide if the ZLINE 30-inch classic gas range actually fits the way you cook, the space you have, and the budget you're willing to stretch. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's acknowledge the hesitation most people feel before splurging on a range. You're probably wondering whether a 30-inch gas range will truly give you better control than a standard electric model, if the convection oven will actually cut cooking time, and whether the extra features like auto-reignition are worth the premium. You might also be worried about the size. Will it squeeze into a tight galley kitchen? Or about service. Is ZLINE a brand that will stand up to daily use? Or will you end up with a costly repair after a year or two? Those are the exact questions I want to address. The ZLINE Classic series is positioned as a professional-grade range for the home cook. It comes with 4 burners, one of which is a dual-function burner that can switch between a high-output wok setting and a semi-low flame. The burners are Italian-made and feature auto-reignition, meaning if the flame goes out it lights itself back up automatically, a safety feature that matters if you have kids running around or if you're juggling multiple pans. The oven is a 4.2 cubic foot convection gas unit with a landscape window that lets you see the interior without pulling the door open. Who should consider this range? If you already cook on gas and value that immediate flame response, the ZLINE gives you the kind of burner control that's hard to replicate on electric. Home chefs who regularly bake breads, roast whole chickens, or run multiple dishes at once will appreciate the convection oven's ability to circulate hot air, which can shave off 1,015 minutes on a roast compared to a conventional bake. The dual-function burner also shines for Asian-style cooking. Think stir-frying at high heat without the flame sputtering out. The stainless steel finish is resistant to fingerprints, so it stays looking decent in an open-concept kitchen where the range is a visual focal point. On the flip side, there are clear reasons to skip it. If your kitchen layout only accommodates a 24-inch or 30-inch width and you have limited clearance behind the unit, the ZLINE's deeper footprint could become a problem. The range requires a dedicated gas line, so renters or people in apartments without an existing gas hookup will face additional installation costs. Also, the price point sits above many entry-level gas ranges, so if you're mainly reheating, making simple pastas, or using the oven occasionally, you might not see the return on investment. Let's talk about daily usability. When I first turned the burners on, the ignition was instant and the flame was steady, which is exactly what you want when you're trying to sear a steak. The auto-reignition worked as advertised. During a brief power flicker, the flame popped back without me having to press a button. The dual-function burner can reach a high output that makes a wok sizzle in seconds, yet you can dial it down to a low simmer for delicate sauces. For someone who likes to keep a pot of stock simmering while sorting vegetables, that flexibility eliminates the need for an extra burner on the stovetop. The convection oven feels solid when you close the door. The landscape window is large enough to give you a clear view of browning without opening the door and losing heat. I tested it by baking a batch of chocolate chip cookies on the middle rack. The cookies came out with even color, and the bake time was roughly the same as a conventional bake, which tells me the convection feature isn't overly aggressive, a good thing if you're used to standard ovens and don't want to constantly adjust times. The oven's rear burners are tubular, delivering even heat for broiling. A salmon fillet broiled on the top rack had a nicely caramelized surface without burning the edges. Now, for the hidden trade-offs. The range's quiet operation is a selling point. There's no loud fan humming while the oven runs, which is nice if your kitchen is open to a living area. However, the lack of an audible fan can make it harder to gauge when the oven is truly preheated just by listening. The control knobs are simple, which many appreciate, but they lack digital precision. For example, the low simmer setting can feel a bit higher than you'd expect if you're used to a dial that lets you fine-tune to the exact BTU. Also, the stainless steel can show water spots after a thorough cleaning, so you'll need to wipe it down regularly if you want that showroom shine. Another practical consideration is the learning curve with the convection system. Some users expect convection to magically make everything crisp faster, but the reality is you still need to adjust rack placement and occasionally lower the temperature by about 25°F. If you're accustomed to a traditional